Heart beats, but I don't feel. I touch, but it ain't real. They say I move too fast, going man to man, always holding a new hand. Why can't they understand? Sex is irrelevant, just a game in my head I'm playing, and I'm winning. I broke another heart today. And I didn't care, I just walked away. Cause they think I love them, but I love them all, yeah. I need another one to get over the other one, yeah. Cause they think I love them, but I love them all, yeah. I need another one to get over the other one, yeah. They are waiting for me to fall. They all want me to fall. Oh, these men, they met. Want me like the rest. I'm continuing, I'm giving my best. Can't they understand? Sex is irrelevant. Just a game in my head I'm playing, and I'm winning. I broke another heart today. I didn't care, I just walked away. Cause they think I love them, but I love them all, yeah. I need another one to get over the other one, yeah. Cause they think I love them, but I love them all, yeah. I need another one to get over the other one, yeah. Maybe one day I'll settle down, but for now I'll just play around. And I make them feel good. That's how I feel. Make them all feel special, and then I fuck it up. So I won't hurt. I keep a lot of them, and I love them all.
What's going on, Conscious crew? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. Of course, it is your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV, and we're here with another riveting ass episode of the platform. Now, I have one of my very, very, very favorite YouTubers in the building, and I am super excited to get his take on, you know, where contemporary parenting is, these concepts around conscious parenting, aggressive parenting, or even gentle parenting, which is kind of a new thing these days, okay? So we're going to dumpster dive into all of that. But before we do so, you guys already know what I need you all to do, which is to thumbs up this video, because YouTube is playing on my motherfucking top today. And I don't even know why, because I've been so good to this girl. I've been so good to this girl for the past 3 weeks, girl. I've been slapping content out, driving traffic to this tired-ass platform. And here it is today. I have a video right now that's already at 3.1 1,000 views. But when you look at it from the platform's perspective, it's only at 2.5. Now, somebody told me that the reason why that video is pussy popping the way that it is because I had R. Kelly's name in the title. I did not know that they were out here like blackballing R. Kelly's name like this. So I had to immediately re-edit that shit, okay? But nonetheless, plain on my top, all right? Also, shout out to all of the new subbies. Please make sure that you guys all keep your notification bell set to all. Please share this live stream wherever it is you have digital media, whether that is your YouTube community wall, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them whores know. The Real Outlaw been in Cullen. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through. Okay.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
With no further ado, let me go ahead and bring my nigga up. What's going on, Jody?
What's up, y'all? I'm on Consciouztv, baby. What's up with y'all?
Congratulations, Jody. You done made it.
Yeah, it just looks like that, bro. This is a green screen. This shit ain't real.
No, I mean you being over here.
Oh,
You done
yeah. It's my second time here, I think. It's got to be my second time. Have I been here before?
No, this is your first time. Actually up on the platform. I think you're confusing the 2 times you had me over on your corner.
Yeah, all right, for sure. You about to pop my cherry. That's what's up.
Yeah, you know, I'm a master at doing that. Now, speaking of popping cherries, because, you know, I don't know how much my folk are aware of you and what you do. You have a fantabulous platform. You're very multifaceted like me. You do have a particular niche, which is in the movie, comic book, like that whole realm. So
yeah,
can you just tell the people a little bit about yourself, your platform, and all of that?
Man, I'm Jody Joe. I'm from Jody's Corner. I'm a Los Angeles-based YouTuber. I'm fat. I have a beard. I have friends. I have a studio. I like pop culture. I like movies, comics, TV, barbershop talk. I like titties. I like sex. I like talking real. And this conversation is going to be fire. This is going to be probably one of the, I've seen some fire conversations happen here. Yeah. I want this to be one of the firest ones that we have.
I think it's going to be all fire, no smoke. Now, you know, I've never really asked you about how you even got into YouTube. Like, how long have you been on YouTube? And how long did it take you to get to a place where you could do social media full time?
Shoot. So I started YouTube doing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a trading card game for nerds. I liked freaking pop culture shit, and I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician. So I would make decks, and I would put that shit on my channel, showing deck profiles and real nerdy shit. This was way back in like 2014. Then I stopped. I wasn't regular on that. I was just doing it for the fun. Then around 2016, when BBS came out, I didn't like that movie, and I said, "Freak, bro," because I didn't know how to edit it. None of that shit. I did a review from my phone. I had a Galaxy Note Edge. Shout out to y'all Galaxy owners. If y'all know what the Galaxy Note Edge was, I had that shit, and I filmed the video. It was in 2 parts because only 20 minutes could be recorded. I uploaded them sheets in 2 parts, and that was the BVS rant, which a lot of people watched and said was the official start of my channel doing movie reviews. So in 2016, I did a movie review, and then I never looked back from there. From there, I was like bringing my friends in and stuff like, yo, we can make this work, dog. Like, come pull up, come on, let's do some reviews, discussions. Let's do some talks and some live streams. Right when the live streams kicked off around 2017 for me, that's when I got introduced to super chats. Like, somewhere around 2017, I think super chats kicked off, and we was live. I'm like, what is this yellow bar, this blue bar? What is it? $20? Is that real dollars? And it was our community funding us and shit. I'm like, holy shit. Like, and then that was like the next level shit. So I went full-time YouTube ever since 2017, bro.
I got to give you your
2017.
props, Jody, because nigga, you like put the whole city on. I mean, you brought your whole clan. Like,
Brought the
you got
homies.
your bros, you got your
Yeah.
homies, you got your relatives. I mean, we don't see too many people like keeping
Yeah.
it, you know, keeping it in the circle, in the family like that. Have you always been communal and family like that, or that's something new that you're doing at this point in your life?
I got 2 brothers and a sister. So my mama has 4 kids, and we all grew up together. Same mom, same dad, and we grew up in the same household up until I was 8 years old. And then my mom and dad divorced. He was the beater and stuff. That was a real bad situation. And then we had to stick even tighter together because we're homeless. We're going into motels. You know, we got to, you know how in the county, you got to, and here in LA, they don't just give you a Section 8 voucher. You got to like be homeless and like live in a shelter for a certain amount of time. And that's what my mama did with 4 kids living in those motels, not a hotel, a motel. You know, them $30 a night Rice Krispies with roaches in it, that type of shit.
Wow.
So we was doing that. And then just being together, like kind of had like a close family feel. So I just wanted to bring my friends involved, bro. Like ain't no other freaking opportunities in the hood like that. And we was all black dudes who liked pop culture. It's not like we was, you know, thugging and shit, you know what I mean? Like, you know, because it's hard to get niggas in a group to do anything constructive already as it is.
Yeah.
Us, we grew up since high school together. So we was already friends 10 years, and we was like, man, come pull up on a channel and let's make this happen. And they was down, bro. And then that was it. I just welcomed it for everybody and then turned into what it turned into.
God damn, Jody. See, this is why you deserve to get your dick sucked every day. First of all, you got a whole rags to riches.
Look at them lips, my dude. Hey, what are you talking? Them lips looking good right now. Don't tease me, man.
You got a whole rag to riches story, my nigga. And then you brought all your loved ones along. And then, like, you're literally out here championing the shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you ever just sit and marinate in that? Or do you just, because I know a lot of content creators and influencers and artists, like, we get so caught up in the moment and we just be working that I don't think a lot of us take time to be present and to be like, damn, like, I have really come a long way and I've really carved out something for myself. Have you really internalized that?
Yeah, I have, like a couple years back when it was really booming. You know, things are like chill now, pop culture, like this society's so effed up. Like everybody's confused and everybody's attention is on so many different things. Yeah. So less people are like really on pop culture right now. But yes, it happened in the peak. 2020 was a real big year for your boy Jody Joe with the pandemic. Everybody's at home. So everybody who was a YouTuber, anybody who had an online platform, bro, everybody was at home watching them, bro. Yeah. And then the revenue was high.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
we
what
were
I was
primetime
like,
TV. Yeah, we were primetime TV during the pandemic.
Yep.
Sure.
So that's when I was like, dang, like, we really doing this shit, bro. So yep, that was when it was.
Now, you know, we out here making niggas drop out of college because they see all this.
Yeah.
And they see the notoriety, they see the bag, they see all this, and they're like, fuck the student debt shit, fuck this nursing shit, this lawyer shit. Mom, I want a YouTube platform. What do you think about young people wanting to kind of give up an education to do what we do?
So I got a son. And as much as he likes Minecraft and the idea of being online gaming, which I would support, go to school, son. I tell him, go to school, learn, get your education, get high grades to get a degree to be what you want to be. He wants to be an engineer. I support that 100%. If he wants to swap it out and be an architect, fine. But I just know, like, you got to get a trade. You got to get education in something. If you ain't got to go get a degree, don't do that shit, because school ain't for everybody. I dropped out because Jody's Corner popped off. I was in school. I was in business school.
Yeah,
For me, I was on $800 a month income and student financial aid every 2-3 months. That shit came far in between. And then the YouTube started popping off. So I just took what I was learning in my business school in my classes and applied that shit to my freaking business and YouTube and then made that work. But nah, man, I can't recommend people put education, and not just education. Education isn't just a degree. Education is a trade, a craft, a skill set.
Yeah.
Go for that. Now, knowing that I come from YouTube, you from YouTube, a lot of us that we know are from YouTube. If you have a passion, here's what I say: if you have a passion for it, don't do it for money. If you're doing it because you want to be rich and make money, I don't think you're doing it for the right reasons. You still could be successful, but it's going to be harder. If you got a passion to do something and you're going to follow it through, absolutely do that shit. But most of these niggas ain't got passion. Most of these niggas doing it for the clout and the money.
For clout and the money. Yeah.
And it ain't gonna work most of the time.
So what is the difference between like believing in what you're doing and just doing it mechanically? Like you are just doing it for the money versus when your heart is also in it. Because I think I understand what you're saying, because for me, because I think what's probably in what you're saying is the fact that you can have a desire to do this, you can want to do this, but there is going to, what I call, you're going to go through that like ugly phase when it comes to growing out your hair. Like, you know how when you in that midway, like everybody got to go through that rite of passage. And some people may not cross that finish line, and it may take some time to finally see momentum in what you're doing. If you don't love this shit, you may give up mid-surgery.
You answered your own question. You answered it. That's
okay,
it.
well, I'm asking you though. Like,
that's the passion.
That what?
No, exactly that shit. You're gonna quit if you're not passionate. Only a passionate person will keep going because they're passionate about doing it. When you get to your first stumbling block, the person that is mostly motivated to be rich and famous, that's around the time that they're going to probably quit.
Yeah.
That first roadblock, probably 80% of the people that try a YouTube channel or whatever will quit because there's no passion behind that shit. But when you're passionate, you probably go through 2 roadblocks, 3 roadblocks, 4 roadblocks, and then they find their way to, most of the time, to success. Sometimes they still don't, but you need that passion, bro. Like, there's too many fools out here just, and Instagram and the internet is making it worse, making people think that it's just easy out here to just have a YouTube channel. It's easy out here to just run TikTok is a little bit different. That's just really like on your phone, just like, a couple of edits. But like to do this, it's not as easy as people think it is. Sure. Is it easy sitting down in a chair and getting in front of a camera and talking? Yeah. But people don't know what happens behind the scenes when it comes to getting that stuff, developing a schedule, dedicating the time, energy. It takes energy. You be over here streaming for like 8 hours, bro.
You know it.
What's that shit feel like? You feel like a whole dead zombie by the time the stream is over, huh?
Akuta Kente.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's work.
Yeah. But the payoff is epically rewarding. Not only because the impact and really transforming people's minds and thinking and giving them a space to be free in, to be stimulated in, but of course, like all of just, like just the growth and just the support from the supporters, it's all fucking rewarding. So I couldn't imagine myself doing anything other than what I'm doing. So my question to you with that being said is, have you ever felt like, you know what, I want to give up? Like, did you have those moments in your social media journey? You did?
Yep, wow. I did. Especially because I don't know if you're aware of that, but I had a lot of trials and shit on the way to, still on my way to success. I had a daughter that passed away, 2018. That was tough. And later that year, my dog died, which was tough than a motherfucker.
Sorry to hear that.
And then, not too long from that, I had a falling out with one of my best friends of 20 years over this shit.
Really?
Yeah, man. One of my dogs that I started this shit with.
Okay, so right there. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear all of that. I guess it's true that it comes in threes a lot of times. I've been seeing a lot of that. It comes in bulk when it does come, like when it rains, it pours.
Facts.
Yeah. So like with your best friend, because I think a lot of people don't spend enough time. Like I just had a conversation on my own platform about like grieving friendships, almost to the same extent of grieving like a romantic relationship. Like how does it feel to be in breakdown with somebody that you love and somebody that you started this shit with? And do you think that it's beyond reconcilable, or do you think y'all will work it out in time?
20 years is a long time, man.
It fucking is.
And shoot, for it to go down the way it went down, it just is looking at it now, because this was like 2-3 years. This was like 3 years ago. What is this? 2023? Yeah, this was like 3, almost 4 years ago. So as I'm looking at it now, yes, it could be reconciled. I had some hate in my heart, Conscious.
Yeah.
I had some real bad rage feelings toward that person for the things that they did to me.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to let that shit go. Like, bro, forgiveness is I gotta tell you about forgiveness, yo. That shit is powerful. Like that when they say that you gotta forgive for you, that shit is so true.
True, yeah.
And I think it could be reconciled, and it felt terrible. Have somebody that I loved that was a brother to me, and to like that shit was just all different. Our friends were like what the freak do we do and all that shit, all that weird shit. It was really bad. But now everything is good. You know, I move on. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, you know, that's just
okay. But here's the big question
grind.
then, Joe, because you know they say forgiveness doesn't per se equal relationship. So you can forgive him, but the level of betrayal and fuckery, it sounds like you articulating, was beyond the beyond. So I like forgiving is one thing, but do you think are you really open to being back in relationship to somebody who betrayed you on the level that you were betrayed?
Heck no. That shit over with. I'll never be on that level with that fool again. Like, as far as like, I forgive you, we're on cool terms. Like, everything, how's your kids? Everything. Oh, okay. Never again. Don't ever mix friendship and business. Don't ever mix family and business, man. God,
well, wait, that says the person that I just bigged up brought all his fucking loved ones with him. And you
that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, like, you know why? The ones that are still here now, which is most of them, they're here because they followed my lead. Yeah. And I opened up doors, you know, and they basically was like, cool, like, all right, they're giving me props and credit, and they understand I'm giving them love. But this particular person didn't like that I was looked at as a Tyler Perry nigga letting people in the door. Yeah. And he wanted to be his own guy. And but he wasn't. And that was bad for all of us. So it was like some jealousy and shit.
And it sounded like some male ego.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know how we get.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but see, you give me like main character energy and you give me natural born leader. So have you ever put yourself in the shoes of people who don't have an alpha complex, but they trying to find themselves and how it must feel to be like in a follower position and have somebody else kind of responsible for why you are for where you are and why you are what you are? Like, have you ever put yourself in that position to try to understand what that might feel like? Because it comes natural to you to be at the forefront. Like, you got it. So that's your second nature for you. But for some other men, you know, they got to manufacture that in themselves. And it might make them feel a way, you know, to have another man kind of responsible for their basket.
That shit hit deep what you saying, because that's real, man. It's hard for somebody with an alpha mindset to think like a beta.
Well, you put it like that.
That's hard. And you're right. Had I, to be honest, if I did that, if I took that advice and I did that, I think that we probably would be still cool to this day. I don't think so. I gotta take a part in that shit. Like, but when you're so driven and focused on some shit, and like somebody's like not lining themselves up with that path to success, and it's hard to try to take and think about and hear what they're saying and then follow them when you just know, if you know your shit is right and this is the way it needs to be done, and someone else who doesn't have the expertise and stuff like that is telling you how to do it, that's really frustrating. That's like Mace trying to tell Diddy how to entrepreneur.
Oh,
Diddy ain't gonna listen to you.
Diddy is an interesting example right now.
Yeah, he ain't shit. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? We can knock what he did. Like I'm saying, that's like Beanie Siegel trying to lead Jay-Z. Nah, it don't happen like that. Like, nigga, this is the way it is. Like, what's happening? But you're right, bro. I should have did that shit, bro.
No, I don't want you to conflate. I don't want you to conflate that you are to blame, because I don't think you're to blame. Like you doing what you were doing.
I had some role in it. I had some role.
I mean,
whatever
but
my
maybe
role
it was
was.
like an unconscious contribution. But that's just because you didn't know. Just like he probably didn't know how to really handle what the fuck he was really feeling. He didn't have language, the right language. He didn't have the right
Yes.
perspective around the way he was feeling. So it probably was executed in a real raggedy ass way.
We never communicated our feelings.
Yeah.
And it was a problem for him. I communicate my feelings with all of my other friends, but this particular person, he kept everything inside. He didn't want to really say what he felt towards me and about me until after he betrayed me. So it's like, dang, nigga, if we would have talked about this shit, we would have been able to figure this shit out. Why I gotta wait for you to take the knife out my side while I'm leaking before you telling me problems that you had? It's too late now. Crazy.
Yeah. But that's because sometimes we don't really. That's because we don't understand until we see the damage, and then it's like, oh, like seeing that damage helps us to be like, oh damn, like it was some shit going on. I didn't even realize it was some shit moving. I ain't even pay attention to it. It just all kind of shows up in the moment that you see the twin towers in rubble. That you like, oh, I really ran a plane through this motherfucker. Like there's 3,000 lives gone now. So sometimes, unfortunately, it takes seeing that shit. But okay, so with that being said, then, because you said that you're raising a son.
Yeah. And a daughter.
So do you, well, I mean, you obviously anecdotally have already experienced men having an issue with communicating. Like, do you talk to your son around like just communication and vulnerability and the importance of that shit as a man? Because society gonna teach him that that's some bitch nigga shit. Gonna teach him that he a sissy. He need to like straighten that shit up. But is that your attitude as it relates to him as a male, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I talk to him. Like for example, like right now, it seems like he's a good kid. So let me just give you a preference. Just if you just believe what I say about my son, that'll be the easiest way to like tell this story. He's a genuinely like untouched flower. He's innocent. He don't know what twerking is. He don't watch booty shake videos. He don't listen to rap music because he's not interested in rap music. He would rather play Minecraft than go outside and rob, steal, or do that other bullshit that a lot of kids who are 13 years old do. Yeah. He wants me to take him to Minecraft Con rather than anything else. He's not into Jordan's fashion. He's not materialistic. He cares about video games, toys, Legos, and Minecraft. Like that's who my son is. And I'm very proud of him. He's a nerd. And I couldn't be happier to have a nerd for his son. Yeah. And a lot of fathers, they're not comfortable with having a nerd for his son, especially black fathers. Yeah. A lot of black fathers are a little bit more toxic with the way they raise their kid. You know, don't be sensitive, don't cry, all that. I talk to my son. My son is a very emotional person, and he's getting bullied in school. He's always getting bullied in school because, I have to go. I'm going to visit the principal a couple times a year. I'm talking to the counselors. It's an active process. It's extra work you got to do to be a good parent on top of what your kids go through. He's in the 8th grade. I don't know about you, but I was the worst ever in life in the 8th grade. Middle school, nigga, pure chaos, nigga, raging fire. Like, I mean, I don't give a shit about adults. I was lost.
Oh, wow. I was probably your son in middle school. Like, I was the one going through it in middle school. Okay, so this is what I want you to do, Jody. I want you to put your son in karate, and then I want you to tell him to break a motherfucker's face every time they fucking try him. Start making an example out of the middle schooler motherfuckers.
I got him in boxing, and I want him to be able to fight when he can't get away. Son, like, if you can't get away, just walk away. Just be the man. Walk away. I teach my son, understand why kids bullying you. You got Jordans on. You got a Michael Kors backpack. Your shit fly. You look fresh, but you don't care about that shit. And other kids, they look cool. The girls like them because he likes girls, and he says, "Oh, this girl's but the girls don't really show him no play. He a little chubby, and he sees the other kids getting play for being bad, saying nigga, bitch, this, cussing and all this, doing the latest dances off TikTok, being ignorant as shit, cussing out his teachers, and the girls like that type of guy." I said, son, just understand that's gonna shift as you get older. Like they having fun now. they're the dude now. But understand, when you become a man and you're on the path you're on, you're gonna win in the end. At the end of the day, you're gonna win. You know them niggas that be popping in high school and don't do shit afterwards. You know what I'm talking about?
Ain't shit ass niggas afterwards. Your son gonna be the one signing them niggas checks, giving them jobs, and he gonna be the nigga that the women down there first court, like vulturing over. So I get it, but it must feel pretty because see, I'm raising nieces and nephews, and I am scared for the school shit because I don't feel like I'm completely right in the head because I don't know how to deal with like my nieces and nephews feeling powerless, and just the thought of them coming home and not like, and just feeling beat up and feeling off and feeling rejected and just being rumored on, and it's just like I don't,
because you know what they're going through.
I know what they're going through,
You know what that feel
and
like.
I wish, because I was raised in a very like, even though I witnessed domestic violence in my household, but in terms of my parents, they like had a very don't fuck nobody up attitude. Like it was always about like you go to the authority, you report it to an adult. So we weren't taught self-defense, and I wasn't taught to stand up for myself. So I was completely victimized by the bullshit I was going through. And I kind of like look at them and I'm like, what am I going to tell them? Because right now I just see violence and I'm just like, fuck them niggas up. Like I wish somebody would have told me, CTV, fuck them niggas up. Like tell them niggas to catch you after school hours. Like wait for them niggas.
Is that the answer though?
Like, but like demolish the leader and trust me, everybody else will fall by the wayside.
Is that what you tell them? To like fight?
That's what I want to tell them. Like right now they're like 1 and 2. but my head,
I think they're like 11 and 12. What the freak?
That's what I was saying. That's how petrified I am.
I got you.
Because I'm just like, what am I? I do have like 10, 11 years to figure it out.
Yeah. You'll figure it out by then. Sure.
I'm just like, but see, this is my conflict because I want to be real transparent. You know, there's this attitude that violence doesn't solve anything, but I think we all would be lying if we said slapping a bitch did not resolve conflict at times. Like
it does sometimes.
Some of the niggas I became friends with, it's because I slapped their ass into friendship.
Yeah.
You know, like, because when we're talking about bullying, right, and we're talking about the bullying of innocent people, they're already practicing the art of de-escalating, minding their business, being non-problematic, giving no rhyme or reason for nobody to fuck with them. So what else could be the solution if a motherfucker is fucking with you?
Get away. You got to get out of there. You got to get out. But you're right. I've had fights. I've seen people get beat up and then them same two niggas was friends. I've seen it happen like with me, myself, my brother. Like sometimes violence does fix it, but then does it really fix it? Because now in your mind, you know that you could always access that violent pool when you have another problem with somebody else, and maybe the next time you do it, maybe that won't work. Maybe that isn't gonna work, and you know, I just don't believe it. I don't believe in violence. CTV, I don't. I don't believe in it. No, I'm soft now. I used to be a fighting street nigga, but nope, no more.
So then, I mean, in my mind, I like the idea of nonviolence. In my mind, I'm attracted to Gandhi and Jesus's nonviolent shit. But in reality, I am with the burn, loot, and destroy the shit, put blood in the motherfucking earth. Like, that's my reality. So I just...
When's the last time you had a fight? A real fight?
I was in a shootout 3.5 months ago.
God damn.
Yeah.
Well, what about a physical fight? Like, were you like...
I don't physically fight no more because I'm licensed to carry. So my Beretta does all the talking and negotiating and mediating for me. Yeah. So that's why I was in a shootout 3.5 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when the last time you did fight, however many years ago it was, whether you won or lost that shit, how do you feel after you've beat somebody up?
Real good.
Gotten beat up.
Well, see, it's never gotten beat up.
So you
But
never
I
lost
thi-
a fight, okay?
No. When I
All right.
so I would get like I went through my shit in like middle school with niggas just like pushing me when they passed me in the hallway. I never been like beat up in school. And then by the time I got to high school, I was with all the shit. So I was the aggressor. Once I got to high school, I was the one making an example out of niggas because I understood how the social dynamics work. I understood that once you, it don't matter what type of nigga you is, once you fuck one of these niggas up in broad daylight, everybody else is on airplane mode for the rest of the school year because you done help them to understand the assignment that you on. So after that, because to your point now, I was emotionally intelligent enough to only fight when it was necessary. So beating the shit out of somebody, I always blamed them for why I had to fuck them up. So there were never any internal consequences.
God dang. Oh, this nigga toxic. All right, for sure. Well, I've beaten. When I hurt somebody, when I was younger, it'd be like, yeah. But like afterwards, I feel bad. I would have that feeling like I didn't do something. This wasn't right. Like I remember one time I was at a public pool and this freaking kid kept freaking bugging me in the public pool because he had his little cousins with a Mexican kid, chubby motherfucker. And we was after the pool was over, it was like 3 hours. And after the pool was over, we was in the locker room. And then I was just like tired of his shit. So I just walked up to him, man, what's your problem, man? But he ain't fool. Push me. Man, I just let off on him. Knotted his whole shit up. And in the moment, I'm like, yeah. He was like, yeah, you beat him up, yeah. But then I went outside. I got dressed earlier. This nigga was naked. Like 10 minutes after, we're hanging outside the exit of the locker room. The kid comes out. Knots. One of them knots was bleeding. He had a freaking effed up nose leaking. And I just saw him. I said, nah.
And you wasn't proud.
I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about that at all.
Really?
All that rage.
Even though he been fucking with you, he been antagonistic, he been asking for this ass whooping, you still felt like, damn.
I felt bad for him. I felt like, and I knew something in my heart, like this ain't, we ain't supposed to do this. We're not supposed to be hurting people. Because it doesn't really good comes from my brother. My brother was more of like, yeah, where the next nigga at? And then he spent half his life in prison. You know what I'm saying? He spent half his whole adult life in prison.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you here. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the thing, right? I can understand feeling sorry for the other person because I will feel bad that you made me fuck you up. I'm not gonna feel no way about me, but I will empathize with you making me fuck you up. Like that was a fucked up position for you to put me in.
That's crazy. So you're still blaming them for it.
But if I'm already playing the I don't want no smoke, leave me alone. Like I'm minding my business. To your point, you fucking with me. Like I ain't doing nothing to invite none of this energy on. So what I'm supposed to feel guilty about if I gotta fuck you up and get you up off me?
You gotta do better. You gotta just take bullshit and just. I know the problem. You hear shit that you don't like and you ain't having it. I know what's up. I can see it in your eyes. There's some shit that somebody say to you and you were like, oh, heck no. You ain't finna like walk away from that shit. People say something certain to you. That's why you got a pistol.
Okay. But once again, see, it's the emotional intelligence. To heavy is the head that wears the motherfucking crown. So I do understand that because my hands and feet and my Beretta are weapons of mass destruction, that I must be long suffering for sure. So I can't be looking for no fight. And I can't be yielding to the most apocalyptic, destructive shit that I can in order, just to prove a point. So I don't fight just because of what somebody say. I don't pull out the Glock just because I feel disrespected.
So you're like, you bitch, homo motherfucker. I hate your kind. F you. You this, F this. You hope you die, you motherfucker, cocksucker. You'll take that.
I'll take that because I know how to verbally assault a motherfucker too. So
That's true.
that's a part of
See,
my
that's
a
true.
part of my
Yeah.
mutant ability as a gay man. Is I know how to drag into a bitch's soul. So I can get with all that. But long
that's true.
as he keeps that over there. See,
Yeah.
but when he started doing all that and he's walking toward me,
Got you.
when he's doing all
that's
that,
a threat. That could be a threat. Yeah.
When you giving me that, it's up.
Right.
It's up,
right.
period.
I
Because I don't know you. I'm not going to make no assumptions about what your intents are. But all I know, you walking over here to stab a nigga up, to shoot a nigga up, to beat a nigga up, to do whatever. I ain't going to give you no benefit of no type of a doubt. You want to talk shit, you better stay in your cubicle and stay in your little 4x4 circle and do what you do best.
I'm with you.
But once you start physically demonstrating aggression outside of your dick sucker, it's up.
Got you.
Yeah, sure. Your mama gonna be down there selling fish plates for the tombstone burial.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what time is gonna be on because I can't do it. Gotcha. Okay, so speaking of all that, because I guess we can segue right into gentle and aggressive parenting. What do you know what gentle parenting and aggressive parenting is?
I don't think that I know. I'm pretty sure there's a scientific definition that you're gonna hit me with. But let me just tell you what I think it means. I think when I hear gentle parenting, I'm thinking of the talk about the problem. Let's see the root cause of the issue. Let's, instead of giving you this lashing real quick, this la 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 dipped in water, let me go ahead and see why you did this. Let's go ahead and try to connect and discuss another avenue, or Tommy's the corner, or whether it be no TV or no video game. That's what I think about the gentle parenting. Okay. What is the other one called?
Aggressive parenting.
Aggressive. So I would think that aggressive parent is somebody who is suffocating their child, stopping them from being who they are, stopping them from growing up. And then when they F up, they get F'd up. The belt always comes out. You're always getting whooped. You're always getting punished. The punishments are excessive, and they just see punishment more than they see the emotion of what their child is going through. That's just what I got.
Oh, well, you actually are pretty dead on it, Jody. You're a very smart, conscious man. You're very lucid over there. Okay,
conscious Jody, yeah.
Okay, so I want to pull up, just a little 1-2 from health. Somethingclinic.org, and it's just a little passage here that says, so the goal of gentle parenting is to raise confident, independent, happy children through empathy, respect, and understanding, and setting healthy boundaries. This parenting style focuses largely on age-appropriate development. Traditional parenting styles focus on punishment and reward, like you just said. When your child does something good or shows good behavior, you reward them with fun activities, treats, and positive feedback. If your child does something bad, though, they might be put in timeout, for example, or you might spank them, a decisions doctors say you shouldn't. Instead of focusing on punishment and reward, gentle parenting focuses on improving a child's self-awareness and understanding of their own behavior. Quote, the idea is to be more like a coach for your kid rather than a punisher. Dr. Estrella says, for example, let's say you're getting ready to head out the door for work. You have to drop your child off at school or daycare on the way, but they're throwing a temper tantrum. You're worried you might be late to work and your patience is wearing thin. In this scenario, a traditional parenting style might inspire you to scold the fuck out of them. Quote, stop acting childish and put on your shoes, you might yell. Quote, you're acting ridiculous and you're making me late for work. Wait until we get back home. This sounds like something Kim Kardashian would say to North. Then it goes on to say, notice in this example that there's a lot of negative connotation happening. You're focused on your child's actions and on the frustration it's causing you. By yelling, you're instilling a sense of fear in your kid, and now you both feel anxious or angry. Your child's behavior may stop because they'll recognize you as an authority figure. However, their behavior is likely to happen again. Quote, kids don't always understand what they're doing is wrong. They just stop their behavior because they're afraid, explains Dr. Estrella. quote, they don't really understand why they should stop the behavior unless you explain why. A gentle approach would be to stay calm and firm ahead of time before leaving the house to set expectations. Instead of yelling or starting with the negative, you might take a pause and meet your child where they're at. Maybe you get down to eye level and say calmly, I'm going to drop you off at school and then I'm going to work. We need to leave on time. I expect you to be ready with your shoes on at the door when I'm ready to leave. If you're not ready, then we'll both be late and I will feel angry. If I get angry, you will lose privileges. In this day and age, mommy will probably also end up dead after trying to, resurrect those enforcements. Nonetheless, another approach would be to say, quote, when you don't get ready on time, it hurts my feelings and makes me anxious. Why are you having a hard time? When you approach the situation in this way, you're exhibiting empathy and respect for how your child is feeling, and you're giving them a chance to process their own behavior and hold themselves accountable. By remaining calm, you're also giving your child a space to recognize how you respond to conflict and giving them the opportunity to turn their behavior around. An important part of the strategy then is setting up expectations in advance, planning on how to respond if your child exhibits negative behavior and the ways you can handle it peacefully. What do you think about that?
I think that most of that, I agree with most of that.
Mm-hmm.
There was one of the parts in the first part of the second paragraph where they was talking about the doctor says you shouldn't beat your kids. Bullshit. And then there was another part in the softer parenting where they were like, timeout, go in the corner as an example. Or if you're late to work, your child's in the back and you're going to explain to them and tell them how you feel and tell them why you're going to be late, how it's going to make you feel. Yeah, that works too. But what if it's a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old who doesn't understand what you're telling them? That whole little data is for a child who has understanding, who has emotional intelligence as well. For younger children, you dang straight. Sometimes they need to be hit to let them know they can't do that. You pop their hand so they don't touch the stove, or you let them touch the stove and realize that it's hot so they won't go back to that motherfucker, whichever one that you decide. But a lot of kids who are like 2-3 years old going crazy in the back seat, sometimes they need to be checked. And that's the only way they would understand I can't act like this. So before the emotional intelligence happens, they understand punishment before they understand why you punish them. I believe as humans, we understand punishment before we understand ideals and morals and rules and regulations. That's just how it naturally works.
Okay, so you're saying that humans understand the lightning bolt before they understand what the fuck a lightning bolt even is, but they understand the shock to their ass. They understand that stimuli applied.
Exactly.
Okay. So so then let's revisit this article super quick because it does give some pros and cons to the gentle parenting concept. Okay, so one is gentle parenting can be a motivational tool. Okay, that's one of the pros. I guess one of the alleged so-called cons would be that this parenting approach is time-consuming because your child needs to be self-aware to process their emotions and behavior. You have to be patient enough to dedicate time to understanding your child and getting to know your child better. Then you have to unlearn a lot of behavior and setting healthy boundaries, like you retiring the lightning bolt, Jody. Okay, there's also a misconception that you'll be viewed as a friend and not an authoritative figure. Okay, so that
part right there. Parents are friends in today's society more than they are parents, bro, because of that type of parenting right there. Too much soft parenting could lead to a soft society. That's exactly why our society is effed up. That's a big part of why our society is effed up, because mamas want to be their teenage daughters' friends, dress up, look like them, act like them, talk about the boys, and then never really punish them as a mama. That's a problem. Dads aren't around, especially if you're talking about the black community. But when they are, they're usually either working. Sometimes, depends on mama. If mama is a ratchet mama and she got a thug dude, nigga in and out of jail, all that shit is all left up. But you need a blend of both. You need to take some of the soft parenting, and I believe you should start with the softer parenting emotionally. Let them know how you feel, but that is tied to even the cons. It was in a con. They have to have
Yep.
understanding of what you're saying.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they're basically saying that shit don't work. You know, this doesn't work until your child can cognitively think and understand what you're trying to tell them as far as the English language is concerned. And know what it means to have hurt feelings. Mommy's feelings are hurt. Daddy's feelings. Your freaking kid, 3-year-old, you don't know what the freak that means. So, like, if you're, I think that you should do the soft side, but sometimes even that soft shit don't work. Sometimes you just need to get that rod. You feel me? Spare the rod, spoil the child. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of that,
which is actually non-biblical. That's a whole nother story. But Bree, okay, to everything you're saying, says nah. So what's Gen X's excuse for being raggedy as hell? So all these people who got their ass whooped, they got beat with drop cords, switches, broomsticks, they got hit with anything that mama could get her hands on, and still turned out to be pedophiles, murderers, thieves, whores, the whole nine.
It's
like
a small amount. Most of Gen X don't get whooped. That's the problem. Most of Gen X don't get beat. They don't have a daddy. And when they do, daddy be soft. Men are hated right now, bro. Women are going crazy with more women are being more masculine than ever, bro. They're promoting that shit. Like the family dynamic is in disarray. Gen X is hoed from the family. They're already hoed from that from jump. So I don't think Gen X is. Oh, she said I'm thinking about Gen Z. My bad.
Gen X are like for so Gen X be like fine. Basically our parents.
Yeah, they're fine. What's wrong? What the freak? We are living in the 80s. How was it to live in the 80s? A whole lot better than living today. I'll tell you that shit. My bad. I messed up Gen X and Gen Z. Yeah, Gen X is fine. Everybody, every the boomers before them, they all have their issues, right? But bro, like baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, like even I believe the millennials is where shit I believe where that shit really started to dive a little bit. I think that we're responsible for the children that we had, the next, what is it? Gen Z after millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's out right now? Alpha or some shit? I think Alpha's the newest generation right now.
Okay, so that's the
new generation.
All the babies coming in. Okay.
Yeah. We're responsible a little bit, but these Gen Zs, god dang. I disagree that she's making it seem Gen X is out of whack.
Okay, so let's revisit. let's revisit some of these. Okay, so there's a misconception. So so you're saying parents doing the whole I'm your friend thing. I think this is what this article trying to clear up is that there is a difference between being an enabler and being a friend, but being firm and having boundaries. So there's a misconception that you'll be viewed as a friend. One of the biggest fears about gentle parenting revolves around the idea that you might be seen as a friend than a parental figure. Dr. Estrella says this belief that you won't be taken seriously is actually misleading. Quote, there's this misconception that gentle parenting gives more freedom to your kid and lets your kid do whatever they want, says Dr. Estrella. It's more about saying, let's work together to try to help you improve your behavior and help you develop the skills you need to manage more difficult situations down the line. And instead of your child responding from fear, your child is more likely to respond with empathy and mutual understanding.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's positives to this type of. I think that if I would say I'm a 65-35 parent here with this. I think I'm 65% the softer one, and then I'm like 35% aggressive. I would say
to beat that ass. Okay. And now you may end up, your percentages may end up differently by the end of all of this. So I guess one of the pros is, okay, well, this is a tip for successful gentle parenting. Here are some tips that you'll start on the road toward gentle parenting. Set expectations with family, friends, school members, and colleagues. Stay calm and remain positive. And if you want me to actually read any of these things,
let me see that bubble again. It said set expectations.
Set expectations with family, friends, school members, and colleagues. So you want to make it clear that you embrace a gentle parenting approach. By doing this, you're getting every adult who interacts with your child on board with the idea. You can do this by explaining expectations on a case-by-case basis with teachers, peers, friends, babysitters. So this is like,
that's not going to happen. That's that's La La Land shit.
Well, I think that what they're saying is like, so this is like, because obviously like your child is going to exist outside of your custody. Like they're going to have, they're going to be at grandma's. They might, be with a babysitter. So this is you explaining, hey, I don't know how you raise yours, but this is how you're going to deal with my child. This is what I expect from you and your conduct. If you don't believe in spankings or elevated voices when having to be firm, that's what you telling the grandma, auntie, the babysitter, the teachers. Like, this is what my preferences are out of y'all. My expectations out of y'all. Y'all got to be in my likeness because y'all are an extension of me when y'all have custody of my child. So this is what I want, the experience to be. It also says that expectations are also important for your child to know up front. If you're having dinner every day at 6 p.m. and phones are required to be off or out of the room at that time, then any other deviation from that behavior is understood in advance. This way, your entire family is on the same page and you're dealing with what the expectations are for every situation as well as what the consequences will be. So providing great structure for your child. Like providing...
This is like common sense for that. A lot of people should already know. Like, you should know how to act and set expectations for your kids. Like, this is like parenting 101 right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this should be everybody's common sense right here.
Well, so I think this is speaking to, like, I mean, you would think this is common sense, but a lot of parents, like, because they don't know what they're doing, they actually, like, they have things they want, but they don't know how to go about, like, they don't know how to go about creating it, right? So they may want more structure and discipline at the table, like, let's not do our phones, but they don't know that routine is important. So you got to set that up like that. You got to put that in the rhythmic system. Like, you got to create those boundaries so that, like the article says, there's a sense of expectation, and then there's an expectation of consequences if you with your fuck shit that you're gonna be dealt with. But yeah, to your point, it does seem like, this is like,
I don't want phones at the table. You have a boy and a girl, 15, 13 years old, and you don't want phones at the table. You don't come to the table with your phones because it's rude. This is family dinner. We talk about school, our day, or whatever the heck else y'all want to talk about. This is a no friend zone. That should be it. You let it be known amongst your family, and that's it. Like, especially if you're 13, 15 years old, and then you come to the table and you come bring your phone. Well, you could understand what I said. That's blatant disrespect right there. What do you do with somebody who just heard everything that you said, laid it out for him, and they blatantly disagree? All right, Dad, whatever. Pull my phone out anyway. What do you do then?
I know what Jody gonna do. Lightning to the ass.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would be upset. Now I'm upset, and now voices are raised, and I'm why did you come to the table when I told you yesterday there's no phones at the table? Oh, and then usually they're gonna say something dumb. Well, I didn't know that you meant all the time. Now it's like, what the freak? You didn't know I meant all the time. That's how that shit goes. You know how kids be. Like, we were kids. We played a game. We be testing our parents.
Yeah, for sure.
We be testing them.
Yeah, we do. But so gentle parenting would say, okay, you simply explain. If the child has questions, maybe they didn't know, etc. Okay, now they know. And if they continue to double down, then gentle parenting says you just then remove the phone privileges. Okay, give me your phone. Since you don't know how to put it down and you don't know how to show up to the table like I asked you to when it's dinner time, and you don't know how to be present like I expected you to be, give me your phone and you'll get it back in the morning. Or
all right, here's this. You took the phone. Now, I don't want to eat. Runs to the bathroom, runs to his room, slams that door. Because the phone means a lot to these kids. What do you do then?
Then you show them what it feels like to go to bed without dinner. Okay, fine. If you can endure,
they're okay with not having dinner. They're fine with it. That's why they did what they did.
That they think they fine until it's 10:30 at night.
They gonna sneak in that fridge while you sleep.
Okay, well, how they gonna get through a padded lock on the fridge?
Oh, if you're gonna do all right, see
how they gonna get through the finger stand
on the refrigerator is a whole lot worse to me than beating them up freaking. No, you don't do that shit. No, you got a lock on my fridge.
You're gonna have your own personal mini fridge in the bedroom so that when these nights come,
right here, my son right here checking in with me. Hey, son.
Hey, Dad.
All right, is everything good?
Everything's done, yeah.
Did you do the Did you do the chores like I told you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So everything is done that I asked you to do.
Yes.
Okay.
I took out the trash just now.
Okay. Took out the trash. Dishes.
I already did the dishes.
Good. Good. Good job, son.
Yeah.
Is there something that you want?
Can I watch TV, please?
What was that?
Can I watch TV, please?
Yes, you can watch TV.
Thank you.
I'll see you when I get home.
No game, right?
No game. Let me come home. We'll talk about the game. But for right now, you can have TV. We'll talk about the game when I get back.
Okay.
All right. Love you.
All right, love you too.
Bye.
Teach us, Jody. Teach us, my nigga.
Play this shit, man. I live this shit. Hey, you think I'm a
Teach us,
dad out this
Jody.
motherfucker? You think I'm playing? You think that was a joke? You think that was a game? That's real life right there you just experienced.
That was divine timing right there. That pulled right on up just to seal the fucking tape.
Because I told him to call me when he was done with his chores before I even got on here with you.
Jody is the parenting whisperer, y'all. He just proved that. But okay, so then, wait a minute. So let's explore that a little bit because Bree just said something interesting. Is all of that your son just did respect?
Yes.
It's organized, responsible. Is all that because you started this system of expectation and firm parenting, of course, with love and affirmation early on, or did it take hella work to get here, or was this kind of there from the beginning in terms of how you cultivated?
I raised my son not to fear me, not to fear being whooped. I'm about to give y'all game, and this works, and I tell everybody this. If you raise your child to fear disappointing you, you will raise a good child. If you raise your child to fear disappointing their father or their mother, like where they feel bad for disappointing us and letting us down, then you got 90% of the stuff out the way.
Wow. So you're talking about obviously a healthy sense of fear for authority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if he lets me down, he feels bad. If he doesn't do what I ask him to do and he doesn't hit, he feels bad that he let his father down. And that comes from within.
Okay, wait. So let's dig a little. Okay, so let's put a little bit of a shovel to that. How do you cultivate empathy in a kid from your experience? Like, how do you make sure that your kid?
I show it. I show it. I let my son see how I interact with his mom. I let my son see how I interact with my friends, and I make sure that he understands and he sees how I do it in the real world. Like sometimes I'll use it as an example where he's watching me and my friends interact, and I'll set up a scenario where, you know, he sees it as something that he can relate to how his friends are in school. And if he sees, kids ain't dumb. If they see your parents walk the walk, they'll walk it. They know when you talking that shit, like do as I say, not as I do bullshit. Like you gotta really walk that walk.
The walk. Yeah,
and he sees it as an example.
Walk. Oh, you an example. That's super fucking important because there are a lot of hypocrites out here. There are a lot of people who are on that do as I say, not as I do bullshit. And I be telling them all the time, like kids only understand behavior. They don't like what you show them is what is lodged in their head. What you say is 10% of what they remember. What they see of you is all of their shit. Okay, so that's super fucking dope. And I don't want to keep you here forever, so I just kind of want to condense this a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about this corporal punishment because you do believe in, you know, a sense of lightning to the ass. So according to who.intel, corporal punishment and health. Key facts to know. Corporal or physical punishment is highly prevalent globally, both in homes and schools. Around 60% of children aged 2 to 14 years old regularly suffer from physical punishment by their parents and or caregivers. In some countries, almost all students report being physically punished by school staff. The risk of being physically punished is similar for boys and girls and for children from wealthy and poor households. Evidence show corporal punishment increases children's behavioral problems over time and has no positive outcomes. All corporal punishment, however mild or light, carries a inbuilt risk of escalation. Studies suggest that parents who use corporal punishment are at a heightened risk of perpetuating severe maltreatment. Corporal punishment is linked to a range of negative outcomes for children across countries and cultures, including physical and mentally ill health, impaired cognitive and social emotional development, poor educational outcomes, increased aggression, and perpetration of violence. Corporal punishment is a violation of children's rights to respect for physical integrity and human dignity, health, development, education, and freedom from torture and other cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. The elimination of violence against children is called for in several targets of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, but most explicitly in Target 16.2, end abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against and torture of children. Corporal punishment and the associated harms are preventable through sectorial and multifaceted approaches, including law reform, changing harmful norms around child rearing and punishment, parent and caregiver support, and school-based programming. So it was these type of statistics and data that end up kind of producing the trend of gentle parenting, because the data shows that kids who are hit by the lightning, they remember the lightning, and therefore they enforce and utilize and weaponize the lightning themselves when, like, as a way to get what they want or to resolve conflicts. So whether that's by using physical violence toward their parents in return when they feel hostile, or when they're feeling sad, or when they're feeling anger, or whether it's employing it in social situations against other children and peers, etc. What do you think about some of that research behind corporal punishment? And this, because you also mentioned the Bible, and the Bible also says that violence begets violence.
I don't think it's violence by beating your kid. Those are two different terms. Whooping your child isn't violence. It's just not. Corporal punishment, I don't know what that means. I think that corporal punishment is a term that casts a wide blanket across a lot of different facets of punishment. Like, what do you consider corporal punishment? Just a whooping on the butt, a belt every now and then? Yep. Or is it getting waterlogged and punched in the face? Is it a switch from the tree? Is it an extension cord to the skin where you get whelps on your skin? Is it getting slapped up the side of the head in front of all of your friends and family? What is corporal punishment to them? I think corporal punishment to them is any type of physical touch on your child. I believe.
And the article does say mild or severe. So it recognizes, even from a spanking, a slap, a push, a shove, to being, to drawing blood. All
we got to do is look at the history of human civilization. In the 40s, 50s, and beyond that, you could leave your door unlocked and you ain't got to worry about coming and robbing your shit. Corporal punishment was in schools back then, and society was a whole hell of a lot better than it is now. As soon as they start micromanaging what parents can do in their households, society goes to hell. There's not a coincidence there. It's tied right to it. In the 50s, when none of this shit, when none of these mental issues, school shootings, all this bullshit. No, it's not. This society is getting worse and worse the more we want to micromanage and say, why do you do the things you do? Oh, we shouldn't do that. Let's not do it, because some kids don't get whooped. These kids don't get punished. These are kids who do not get, them niggas that went to Chicago and tore Chicago up. You think them niggas got daddies and get punished? You think them niggas that destroyed Philadelphia, ruined that Apple store, those black businesses, them niggas that be hijacking Kias and Hyundais and shit? You think them niggas is corporal? You think they had corporal punishment? Former father in the house, former upbringing? No, they didn't. And it's the lack of a father and a mother in the household, which is why these kids ain't shit. It's simple as that.
I'm gonna tell you what makes that stance so interesting to me, Jody, because me and my brother, right? I have a younger brother, and we were night and day, and our personalities were night and day. Like, I grew up, I was a pretty like submissive kid. I could do what I say. I followed orders. I didn't have a lot of pushback. I wasn't, super resistant as a young person. So I was always considered the good child. And then my brother was considered the hard-headed motherfucker. And because he was hard-headed and my parents did believe in corporal punishment, he got that ass whooped every day or when he was out of order. And I have to say, it didn't change my brother. My brother was, rebellious. He was very strong-willed, and those punishments didn't sit him down.
I can see that it didn't sit him down. I can see that. And neither would it if he just get whooped and beat every time he F's up. Was there a blend? Was there some of the nurturing side as well? Like I said, you got to have both. Like that part that you read was about strict corporal punishment. Now, if you're a parent who just believes beating your child is the only way to get through to them, that's not good parenting, right? So it has to be a blend of both. It sounds like you don't want there to be any form of corporal punishment in parenting, and that's where you're discrediting the fact that there's a lot of nurturing parenting as well, and that makes up for the corporal side. And the corporal, they work yin and yang, hand in hand. When you take one out completely, you're just left with mostly a soft kid who feels like his feelings need to be put outwardly, and he is just expressing himself. And if he wants to express himself by doing some of this crazy shit, like if we look at mental health is going up right along with the lack of parenting, bro. You just look at the bars, it's just all shooting up together. The mental health, the suicide rates, the school shootings, the mass incidents of death. This shit is happening like every other week now. It's no secret. You don't need a stat sheet. You don't need facts. You could just watch. Bro, I've been live in the 90s. I've seen what the 90s is like. I've experienced the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. Nick, we only 3 years into 2020. This shit is trash. By the year 2025, it's already going to be worse than 2010 to 2020. 5 years into the 2020s is already going to usurp all 10 years from 2010 to 2020. And the same thing from that decade to the 2000s. This shit is getting worse. We're numb to this shit. You just got to look and see for yourself. You see bad kids acting out at the Chuck E. Cheese, at the grocery store. What do you see there commonly? It's probably no parenting. And if it is a parent, it's a mama. And most of the time, mama be ratchet as she don't give a freak. Or if she's not a mama that's not ratchet, she don't give a freak. She's overwhelmed and exhausted because she don't got a partner. And it's hard to parent as just a mom or just a dad. So those are in my opinion, it's better to have a mom and a dad in a household that has corporal punishment and soft punishment than a mom or one dad household that has pure soft punishment. It's best to have both parents. That is even more vital to the Black family, the family as a whole, than how you choose to punish your children. Facts. We need mom and dad in the house first. That's a prerequisite. Like, no matter what mama do, mama could be nurturing and soft and sweet. She can only do so much. She could be corporal and all that. She can only do so much. That's just only one half. We need two parents.
Well, you just unloaded the extendo clip in that in all of that.
I'm going all day with this shit, bro.
Let's just unpack a little bit of that. I hear what you're saying, and I do understand why, I do understand why people believe that corporal punishment has redeeming qualities. I do, because it looks like it makes sense on the surface. Like, okay, well, I spanked that ass, and then little Johnny didn't do that anymore. He got his shit together. So it just
like
seems
you said
like
about fighting. You beat him up, and it stops. You just said it earlier. You in high school, you beat him up, and it stops. Okay. So you benefit from it.
Okay, so then let me start somewhere else then.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? It works.
So then would you say that one of the issues is because I asked you earlier, like, did this start very young for your son? Do you could it be argued that a lot of because our parents would say that a lot of the kids nowadays are being raised by kids, that they're raised by, like, a lot of these moms and dads are young. They're teenagers themselves, getting pregnant. Teen pregnancy was extreme in this country. It was at an all-time high for over a decade. So could it also be that the kids that we're watching be out of control in the grocery store, who are just delinquents and rebellious and etc., acting a fool, are acting a fool because their parents were young, their parents did not have this parenting thing down pat, and therefore these kids grew up, they grew up at the hands of young parents who just didn't know.
Christian Rock. Yeah, terrible parent because she's young and dumb. Yeah, she should have never had a baby.
Blueface, terrible father, equally.
Terrible motherfucker. Two people that shouldn't have children. And Blueface's mom, look at that woman. God dang. Talk about her son's cock and all this other. What type of... That's who raised Blueface, a single mom. Yeah. Blueface stemmed from a single mother.
Okay, so even with the single parent thing, right? We also know that two parents aren't the answer either, because if both your parents are dysfunctional, you good as done. Sure. Like
you could get, though. Like, yeah.
Healthy sure. Parents.
Yeah, sure.
Not
and even then, sometimes having two parents ain't the answer. You can still have effed up kids. Let's keep it a buck. But the odds are in your favor. At least you got a full deck. You got a whole arsenal to freaking go to war with. You know what I'm saying? You over there with just a mom or just a dad. You only got an AK with half a clip. Like, you ain't even ready. You ain't got no grenades. Like, you know what I'm saying? At least you got your old shit to go to war. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. So then, with all that being said, it can be argued then that it's not the kids, it's young, ill-equipped parents who are really contributing to why young people in their care may be behaving erratically and disrespectfully in the ways that they are. It comes down really to these young parents who don't have proper parenting skill set.
I could see that too. I could see like, I don't know about you, Conscious, but out here in LA, there's not that many teen parents. As like, most parents are in their 20s and they got the little kids. Like a lot of girls out here, they have babies 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And so they got 5-year-olds. They're like 25 with a 5-year-old. But I rarely see, even in LA, a big metropolitan city, a 15-year-old girl with a freaking baby. Like, you get that. Some Mexicans be having that shit here and there and all that because their culture's different. But you don't really see that. When you see it, it's like, dang, it's not normal like that. So most like Black women that I see who have children, they're in their 20s, mid-20s, late 20s, some of them in their 30s. And it don't matter how old you are. If your mindset is ratchet, you're not going to be a good mother. Like, I know 30-something-year-olds, 40-year-olds with the ratchet mentality, and they're screwed. And their children are screwed because of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people shouldn't have kids, and a lot of and a lot of gangsters, gangbanging niggas and shit who don't know nothing about being a father, and it's all bad. So I don't think it's age. Yeah, sure. If you're a teen parent, you're like I said, like Christian Rock is a great example. If you're young and dumb and you can barely take care of yourself or know the way the world works, how are you going to bring a little seed in here? Like, I saw that picture with Christian with her baby and that shit at Walmart, and that baby's head was all like this. I wanted to kill that hoe. I wanted to just, I wish it was a cartoon for a second. I wanted to throw my phone through the screen and make that shit hit her in the head. Bop, bitch. Like, I was so mad seeing that baby. That baby didn't ask for that. Like, and nobody really did anything about it. Like, that shit frustrates the shit out of me. So,
it was so traumatizing that I literally created a petition, like, to get the blogs to stop force feeding them to us, because I felt I had anxiety looking at her every time. Like, I had major fucking anxiety. I felt deeply depressed and powerless, and just having the blogs pump that shit. Like, I just felt like it was just really trauma inducing. So I definitely understand. But with that being said, Jody,
like your mod said, 18, 19 counts. All right. But if you're 18, 19, you're an adult. I don't consider you a teen, even though you are 18, 19, you're an adult then. So I think they categorize you as more of an adult than a teenager once you're like 19 years old, even though technically you're still a teenager. But you know what I'm saying? But that's just how it is. But they don't care about teen pregnancy once you're an adult. Like teen statistics, they don't care about you being 18, 19 when they talk about teen pregnancies because you're an adult then. That's an adult pregnancy. Like you're a grown person having a child. I think when they say teen pregnancy, like Teen Mom, I used to watch those seasons. Teen Mom, they're like 16, 15, 17 and shit under the age and shit.
Yeah. But here's the thing though, Jody. Like I think this parenting thing also, I think it runs deep. I think that, I honestly, I'm going to be fully honest. I think that only people who have achieved mastery of self need to be parents. Because I think anything less than that puts your child in a really interesting predicament in terms of their outcome. Because I do believe that a child will ultimately stick to the values and the script that's given to them in their most formative years. I do understand that. I do believe that a lot of these young people were going through a lot. They've been raised by multiple people. They was with grandma. They living with mama. Mama got a dysfunctional relationship to the daddy. The parents both pit the child in the middle. And so there's like no cohesive. There's no love. There's no nuance to the parenting, to the attention the child needs. And then, you know, when I couple in the uniqueness of children, right? Like how many people right now know how to raise a queer person? Like how many people know, like how many people know how to love on a minority child who's going to be raised in systems where their beauty is going to be attacked, their ethnicity is going to be attacked, their sense of self is going to be attacked. Like how many people understand what is required of them and how to help a soul navigate that shit? Not a lot of folks. So if you don't know what you're really doing, and then you got your own trauma going on, and then you're bringing a child into the fuck shit, it's like, yeah, of course, it don't matter how. Like it's going to create fuckery. So I always got to bring it back to the base. Like this shit got to start with us first and foremost. You got to start with the condition we in, the mate we choose, who are going to also be co-parenting. They're just as important to how this child, the values this child is going to stick to in the end. You got to be selective breeders. And yeah, like the condition of self is important. But when it came to my own household, my parents were not the like, I want to whip your ass tight. But if I need to whip your ass, I will whip your ass. And because they didn't know what else to do with my brother and his behavior, it was lightning strike to the ass. Because they're like, you know, we done took your phone, we done took your PS5, we doing all that, we putting you on punishment. Now, my parents did fail at maintaining and doubling down on punishment. Like
my son, could I answer this?
Yeah, sure. Answer it.
Let's see what he said. Hey, son.
Hey, Dad.
What's up?
So I checked my grades, right?
You checked your grades? Talk to me.
So math. She graded the unit test.
Oh, jeez. What did you get?
Sadly, I got a 3.
That's not sad. That's good.
I know, but I got a 3.
3 out of 4.
Yeah.
It sure wasn't a 4, but we would have liked a 4, but
yeah.
I'm sure you did.
I didn't see any change in my grade, but hopefully I will soon.
That's the last class that we got to get up there, son. That's the only one. You got all the other classes is doing good, man. Like you got to stick with it. By the end of the semester, you're going to get that 4. It's going to happen. You just got to work harder.
I already have like a 3.20.
You just need a 3.5 to have an A.
Yeah, I know.
Just 0.3 points, and that's the A. You understand? Eyes on the prize. You could get that. That's just within reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't feel bad about it. It'll be all right.
All right. I just want to let you know I got a 3 though.
Good. That's good. It's better than a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, it is.
But it ain't a 4 though.
Yeah.
It's not a 4, son.
I know.
All right, next time.
All right.
All right, son.
Oh, my bad.
So there it is. You have to your point, your son cares about the way you perceive him. He cares about the way his father feels about his progress in life.
Yes, that is the key.
That's interesting to me. Okay, so I don't want to. Okay, so do you mind for the next 5 minutes if I drop the link and let some people come up here and give their two? Because
bring
there's
bring
a lot of opinionated people. There's a lot of opinionated conscious crew members in the
let's go
in the chat. All right, so we're gonna drop the link, you guys. Gentle parenting versus aggressive parenting. Jody is 65% gentle parenting, but he is with the lightning strike to the ass. He don't give a damn what them corporal punishment mayonnaise folks saying. A little mild strike to the ass never hurt nobody as far as Jody is concerned. When you come up here, you guys, because like I said, I don't want to keep Jody here all night, so please condense your points. Do not give us a soliloquy. Do not give us a dissertation. State your claim. Let Jody respond, etc. If it requires a little bit more, then make it happen. All right. First up is the Tea Lounge. Hey, boo.
Hey, what's going on, Conscious?
Hi.
How are you?
I am awesome. Happy to have you here. I know you were like You just said you believe that it's giving stage, T. So talk to Jody. Talk to Jody.
Disrespect.
the disrespect.
Hey, it's my opinion. Don't take don't it's just my opinion.
Be you got it.
So as far as the spanking versus the corporal punishment, and when I say corporal punishment, I don't want to get into the whole spanking versus getting your ass whooped or whatever. I'm talking about, like he said, just purely putting your hands on a child. I think if we change it to its correct term, which is domestic violence, we would be viewing it way different.
Wait, whooping your child is domestic violence?
In my opinion, yes. It's taking place in the home and it's violence.
In your opinion, but not the law's opinion either.
This is my opinion.
Okay, but there's a factual law that says you're wrong.
Great. I wasn't spanked as a child. I don't know what this whole gentle parenting thing is about. I feel like the terminology is a little bit it's lacking, because you can still be stern. You can still create consequences without putting your hands on a child. I was raised in a home where we weren't spanked. I watched me and my siblings grow up not using drugs, no teenage pregnancies. Everybody went to college. We're either multi-degreed or at least one, right? We were parented. And I think that is the problem. I don't think that there's a lot of parenting going on. There's a lot of people that's growing up and not being raised, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I think that as far as generation goes, when it comes to Black people, we were spanking our kids. The boomers was getting spanked. The boomers were spanking their kids. Generation X spanked their kids. The millennials are spanking their kids. Generation Z is spanking their kids. I see it happening because I'm having conversations with these parents and they're saying that they spank their children. And I remember being in elementary school lying, saying that I got spankings because I felt so uncomfortable saying that I didn't get spanked. I felt like an alien. When I have this conversation now amongst Black people, I feel alienated. It's extremely uncomfortable.
So the basically is that you don't believe that there is any redeeming quality to corporal punishment, and you do believe in a non-violent approach when it comes to any issue as it relates to dealing with young people and raising a child. How do you feel about hearing her experience?
I got a couple questions. I have a couple questions. So What's that? T? What's your name?
T Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
T Lounge.
Yes.
So you said you basically came from a home with no corporal punishment, and y'all did fine, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But here you were. You see me here on the stream, and I'm asking you. I want to ask you because I'm curious. You see me on the stream, and you see me have a couple of conversations with my son, and the first thing that you said was, "You don't believe this. You sense it's fake."
It sounds like a conversation that I have with my parents. So yeah, sure. I believe that the conversation was the way that your conversations go. I do find that it a little bit interesting that you allowed it to be public fodder. Like I would have thought
Because
do you
we're
think that I
here
did
talking about parenting.
Wait, why did you think that I allowed that?
It was on script. It was on brand.
Why
was
would
on
you think
script.
that I would allow that conversation without knowing what he was going to say on the other end of that phone?
I don't want to get into it. My gut is saying that it was staged, but I
Okay, you were staged. Then that's your gut. Your gut is telling you that. That means something inside you, against logic, is telling you that this is staged.
Right? Yeah, sure.
Right. So why do you have that gut feeling that when you see a father?
You said it's against logic. How can I tell you why I'm having a feeling?
Well, then I'll tell you if you don't know. You are programmed to think that way, to feel that way. Some way that you were raised makes you doubt other people. There's something within you. If you're seeing somebody, I'm sorry. I'll let you respond. But if you see somebody that's having a genuine moment with his son, and the first instinct that you have in your gut is that it's staged, says a lot about you.
Fine, sure, I'll take it.
Okay.
I just want to add more context here, Tiki. This will probably help you to understand. Like his son expected him to be home by now because he's staying after hours to have this show with me. Understood. So these are questions and conversations that would already be going on if Jody was actually home. But because he's not home by now, because he's here gifting me with his presence, then, this obviously will prompt, his son to need to call in and to talk to him about things that his daddy would have already been home to be asked. And
just because I think that there may have possibly been, a reason for keeping the, so maybe staged isn't the best word.
That was terrible. Because here you see a father, the son is actually there, and then your first thing is like, that she can't be real. Like that's a unicorn on screen.
I don't. You're not a unicorn to me.
Well, you know what I mean. Like it's fake.
I've experienced many a good black father. Okay,
but you don't believe this one.
I didn't say that. Listen, I didn't say that your conversation doesn't usually go like that with him.
But you said it was staged. That means it's fake.
I think that you knew that you would have that type of conversation, so you wanted it to be heard.
I did know that because I know my son.
But I'm trying to figure out even if that's the case, what's the?
I didn't say it was problematic.
No, because the word stage, but you already acknowledged the word stage might be not the best word, but the word stage is it is problematic in this context.
Right. Yes. So I can retract the word stage. For sure.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, T. We got a few more people got to come up.
Thanks, T. Thank you.
Much love. Have a good one.
I love you too, boo.
All right.
The conscious crew today. Interesting crowd, Jody. I want to
interesting. I like it. I'm here. What's happening?
All right. Welcome to my beautiful usher and moderator. Hey, Rumors and T.
Hey, hi Jody, hi Conscious.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, I'm good. Okay, this is refreshing for a change to have open dialogue without a bunch of yelling and all of that. So my hat's off to you, Jody. I don't agree with everything that you've said.
Yeah.
But I love what I heard between you and your son. As we know, even with the best of us, parents, to me, it's like the gentle parenting thing. It's better. I sigh, but I don't want to sigh like I'm having an issue with gentle parenting, because this is something that I am learning to adapt and put into practice. I wish I would have had more of a concept of it when my children were younger, from the womb to maybe about 5 or 6, because I feel like that is the most important time to implement certain things into our children. I'm not big on there was a time that I would with my children. I stopped doing that. It never made me feel good in the first place. Because I knew what it felt like for me as a child. Like your brother, Conscious, getting ass whooping did nothing for me. It made me actually more rebellious. The people in my life that only spoke to me, you know, I got lectured a lot, and then it was like, you know, one side of the family was all about ass kicking, and the other side was about talking and setting boundaries. And those people, I had the utmost respect for. Actually, I credit those people more for who I have become today, like my foundation, than I did the ones that whooped me. Because there was no, I mean, even down to the communication, it was like a slave man. Like when I started watching movies in school about slavery and stuff, what's that? The Kunta Kinte movie and all of that. Roots.
Yeah.
It mirrored my life when I was getting my ass whooped. So for me, when children get whooped, in my opinion, you're breaking their spirits. A pop on the hand to me is not a whooping. Okay. But
that's corporal punishment to the people though.
No, because most people don't pop their children. We're going to be realistic. We're talking about our community. Most of our community does not pop their children. They beat their asses. We all know it. It is verbal. You know, it comes with physical, because most of the time, if we could be extremely transparent, most of the time when we as parents had, speaking for myself in the past, when you had to whoop your children, quote unquote, you were angry, which brought up frustration, which means that 9 out of 10, if you were hitting them, you were saying something volatile verbally, something that was breaking their spirits, as well as adding on to being physically assaulted. Because I do feel like I was beat with extension cords, pots, pans, all of that's abuse.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how my parents came up. My grandparents dropped cords the whole 9. Like
that's tough. I would say that's
you know.
I had one ass whipping my whole life.
Like you, Conscious, when you be talking, I tell my sister, she be watching sometimes. I be like, look, you Conscious, you and Conscious got the same personality, but honestly, like because my sister was the opposite. My sister got one. Her dad used to pop her on the hand, and she would scream like the world was coming to an end. She didn't get with the same treatment, and although I was more rebellious than her, she didn't get that. And guess what? The same thing that how you are with your son, Jody. That's how my stepfather was with my sister. He set the bar so high for her. He made her feel like, and with all the best of intentions, he made her feel like she never wanted to disappoint him. And so my sister always achieved. She always stretched like to be the best, you know, because B's, a C was like a F. Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. So she always, B's was like, you know, very average. So everything had to be super honor roll. That caused so much distinction. Like she went on for years until she went to college, doing it like killing herself basically, because she never wanted to disappoint her father. She definitely didn't want to be like her other siblings, because we were looked on like we were the bad ones. We were the black sheep, you know. So this high expectation, it caused her when she went to college. But when she went to college, she flipped out.
Yeah,
she literally flipped out.
I want to say something super quick, because we're on a time crunch too, and we got like 4 other people in the backdrop. But I just want to say this, and see that this is why I said to Jody earlier on in the conversation that I think that like parenting is a art form like anything else, like sex, like career navigation, like it's all an art form. And I was watching something really, really, really profound the other day where I saw like an African couple, a husband and a wife. They just had a baby. And the new mom is actually being taught like a lot of things from her husband about how to deal with the child. So the child was like screaming and everything. The husband did this like roll thumb situation with the baby and calmed the baby down. And what he did was that he did a technique that regulated the nervous system of the child. And I'm thinking like, how many motherfuckers know there's a way to regulate like a human being's nervous system? Like how many people understand like that and know how to do that at you know at various times? How many people understand the art of tone and touch and the combination of these things? I mean, it was fucking off the chain, and it just reaffirmed to me that 99% of motherfuckers don't know what they're doing, and that's okay, because like we never had a handbook from the jump. Like these are sciences and wisdoms that have just not been afforded to us. So most parents are just on their fucking own. But there is a science to this shit. There is a way to calm down the energy, like a very heightened energy. And I'm thinking even with my own brother, like my parents didn't know what to do with my brother's energy, where I feel, looking back in retrospect, like when you got a really rambunctious daughter or son, they probably do deserve to be in leadership positions. My parents could have put him in more programs that fostered leadership, that were more physically active, put him in sports, etc. This also would have gave him structure, would have gave him accountability. It would have gave him that sense of what Jody has cultivated with his own children, which is a sense of like just check and balance and expectations and responsibility and all of that good jazz. Like there, but I think like most parents have not even intellectualized their parenting style. They're just being providers, not really parents. They're just paying the bills, take your ass to school, you act out of order, but whip your ass. Like that's kind of the basic fundamentals that most parents are operating off of. They're not really into this shit and really understanding this shit in all the ways they need to be understood. But I do believe that there is a non-violent way to deal with all things, even though I still practice the act of using Zeus's lightning bolt to get my point across occasionally. But someday I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But thank you for that, Arumas and Chibu.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to have you back, Jody, too, because see, my chat, they are loving you,
back, bro.
They're loving you. I want to bring Knockout Meter. Hey, Knockout.
Knockout.
Can you hear me, Knockout?
Yeah, my bad. I wasn't expecting to be up so fast.
Welcome to the platform. We only got a little bit of time, but Jody is here. We're talking about aggressive parenting style, etc. He does believe in gentle parenting and conscious parenting and non-violent parenting, but he also believes in spoiling a goddamn rod. Any thought?
So, for one, I had definitely I can empathize with that because I grew up with an iron fist. I grew up with a military dad, and on top of that, I grew up with somebody who, was born. He's 62. If that is any kind of indication of like how his parenting style is, so cool. I definitely don't want to, and I had wanted to bring up this point when it comes to my son, right? I said, okay, I did a lot of things in my childhood out of fear, not because it was necessarily respect, right? I did things out of fear, or I wouldn't do things out of fear of getting punished, whooped. Once I got old enough, it was like, okay, I'm putting away the belt. Now you're gonna have to like catch hands. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like a real quick transition in between. Okay, I'm gonna stop messing up. You know what I mean? Like it was real quick. So I probably
you got to go through that, bro.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think it builds character, and then plus, the way that my aunt had told me the other day, it was that, it's gonna set me up to raise my son in a better way. So my perception of it now is that I definitely believe in I guess my form of gentle parenting would be to communicate first. Like that's gonna be my number one priority, is to communicate. And again, I don't want to raise my son to fear me, but I want him to respect me. You know what I'm saying? And I really want him to get to a point to where, I can communicate to him what his mistake was, and he can learn from that, rather than me having to come to this corporal punishment type of ideal, which I definitely don't agree with, because I know how it can make a child feel.
Can I ask you a question, Knockout?
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say what your dad, the way your dad was like when he transitioned from being like the belt to like throw these hands, you too big now? Would you see that as like abuse? Do you think that was an abusive relationship?
Definitely. And I used to not think of it that way. I used to think of it as that's just how men grow up. That's just how little boys, you know what I mean? Like eventually you're gonna have to grow into a man. So, but again, that was just my perception. I didn't know that was wrong, So now that I'm older, and especially after my situation, right? I feel like that breeds this type of like it breeds this type of anger, and it breeds this type of like behavior to where now your son thinks it's going to be okay to exercise that type of punishment upon other people if they don't agree, or if they don't want, if you're not falling in line with like how they're thinking. So now, instead of you going out into the public thinking that, okay, let me communicate with people, it turns into, okay, if you don't agree with me, or if we get into words or whatever, I have to come to blows, because that's the only way I know how to handle the situation, rather than talking. And I think that gets a lot of especially young Black men in a lot of horrible predicaments, because a lot of us don't know how to and like you said, Conscious, like we don't know the art of tone, we don't know the art of diction, we don't know the art of really speaking to somebody with some sense a lot of times. So some people throw that out the window, and now it becomes a thing of I have to show you, I have to prove to you this is who I am. I have to.
And would you say this too, a knockout? Like, do you think, because I think the issue with melanated children is that the issue is compounded, which is why we need to be very conscientious about employing physical violence, because we're already going to live in a society that's going to breed us to be violent, and that's going to narrate us as being violent, and kind of encourage the stereotyping and stigma, especially as it relates to being Black men. So I think we go down a very slippery slope. But I also want to insert this super quick. Bougie Barbie made it well. So the female rap elite, shout out to the female rap elite. You guys, please subscribe to female rap elite. He gets into all things female rap elite. Okay, he says that we say it builds character because we don't want to reveal how fucked up our parents were. My dad was like that, and he's in a nursing home alone now. And then Bougie Barbie made a very interesting point. Bougie Barbie says you would never try it as a way to keep your employees or siblings or customers in place, but you would use it on a small and defenseless child. What do you think about that, Jody? As
I'm with him. I do see how it could build character. It could make you strong, army strong, make you tough, and put you in a type of those type of kids who grow up like that. They do have some structure that does catapult them forward to potentially be successful, but there is shit that it pulls along with it. But I wanted to say something like, so Knockout's dad was abusive. My dad, my biological father was. I have a stepfather. My stepfather came into play when I was 8 years old, and he's been married to my mom for almost 30 years now. My dad, my biological father, was abusive as shit, beat us, hammers, beat my mom, all that. Abusive father. So here's two men, right? Two Black men who come from abusive households. When that article said that when you're put violence upon, you're likely to put that upon your own children. But here's two examples of two Black men who come from those type of households where they beat, and they're choosing to change the game and not continue that cycle, because we know what it feels like to be beat, and we don't want to put our kids through that.
But you're only validating the article by saying what you just said. That's exactly the point of the article, is that there is terrible side effects to corporal punishment, and that's exactly why it's encouraging an alternative to avoid people ended up traumatized and then having to go through the hoopla of revisiting their trauma, healing through that, when it doesn't even have to be a trauma there at all. If we as parents, as the caregivers, as the guardians, do it a different way. Because to your point, even though you were raised with that disciplinary style, you and Knockout acknowledge the damage thereof, and y'all are to a large degree giving it up. You've given it.
But the article says you're likely to commit it again, though. The
okay,
article
but
is saying
likely.
Knockout should be beating our kids.
No, because it said likely. It's not saying likely, every case.
The article says we're likely to beat our kids.
It's saying that it heightens the probability, but it doesn't mean it's absolutely going to be the case. It's just saying that it just. I
just want to say that for
it ain't gonna make shit better.
Yes, the first guy that comes in, he has it. Like, that's good statistics to me. Like, I go by the real world, what we see, and I just think it looks good, bro. That's all.
Now, Jody, can I ask a question before I had dropped down?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you might have played sports growing up too, huh?
Football, yeah.
Football. Okay, so that's actually a perfect example. So, I grew up playing sports ever since I was organized sports since I was like 7 or 8. So
That helps.
I
Too.
try to look at things in the lens of sports. So let's say when you're coaching, right? You don't want to just abuse your players. You don't want to just put your players on the line and just run them down the field, or hey, y'all messed up today, so you know what, we're doing bear crawls every 5 yards or whatever, every 10 yards, whatever. Like, you know, those would only come after it was like a severe mistake and something that we already knew was wrong, right? Okay, so like to even expound on it some more, one of our teammates, we're in their weight room and he's lifting weights heavier than what his weight card is saying, and he ends up getting stuck in a squat to where he can't bail out of the squat. So now we got to help him out of the squat. So instead of our coach punishing him, he said, okay, since none of y'all held him accountable or held him responsible, y'all are all going to get punished. And we all had to go through like probably the worst, you know, at least conditioning workout that we could possibly go through. But that was a way of us that mistake never happened again. You know what I'm saying? And I knew one of my teammates who his stepdad, instead of, you know, physically doing anything to him, which I mean he would, but again, it would have to be severe. His punishments were more like, okay, we have a sled in the backyard and we have weights. I'm gonna make you pull that sled. I'm gonna make you do push-ups until you like realize what you did was wrong. You know what I mean? Which can be detrimental as well. But you see what I'm saying? Like there's,
I'm with you.
I think when it comes to especially boys, there has to be like real structure implemented. And back in the day, they looked at whooping, or they looked at you know, you physically coming down on your kids as the ultimate way to teach them right from wrong, which, you know, obviously there's way more.
We didn't even factor that in either. Like you don't punish a boy like you would a girl. They're different. You know, you gotta switch it up accordingly. So that's another part of it, the gender.
All right, thank you for the knockout.
All right, bro.
All right. So I have a okay. So damn, I had a great insertion.
I just want to say for the record, men. Nah, let me not say it.
You think about that a little bit more, Joe.
Yeah,
think about that a little bit more.
Yep. Okay, wait a minute. Let me
so I want to respond to Savvy real quick. Savvy says we can admit that some learning styles don't work for all kids, but spanking is one of them. So here's the thing, Joe. Could spanking be a motherfucking cop-out to lazy-ass parents who just don't want to take time to figure that shit out?
Spanking is a cop-out to black parents generally. The way I see black mamas talking to their kids on these streets of LA, it's some sick shit. Like black mamas, come here, nigga, bitch. You talking to your that nigga 5 years old. Why are you talking to him like that? Like that's trauma, like a motherfucker.
Verbal abuse.
Like threw him on the bus stop. Like some of the conversations had at bus stop benches will blow your mind. So and yes, they get violent. And yes, we as a black community tend to use spankings as, let me just get this over with, because we're too lazy or ignorant to try to parent the right way.
Agreed. And Q Gone is going to make this ass whipping thing work one way or a goddamn another. But I want to say this. I agree it is, but it works sometimes. Here's the thing. Maybe you're under the impression that it does. But here's the other math. We know, right, in the law of the universe, that there's more than one way to do any and everything. So with that, just because spanking appears to work, but the data says it only works superficially and at skin deep level, it doesn't actually resolve shit. Okay, it means that by very nature of the logic that there is a better way to do it. For instance, like you can drive your car the standard way, and you're taught to drive with both hands on the steering wheel. Most motherfuckers drive with one hand on the wheel, and I know how to drive my car with my goddamn feet. Should I drive my car with my feet just because I can and it works and it gets me from point A to point B? No. But is it a functional method? Sure. Is it the best way to accomplish being in my vehicle and mobilizing myself? No. Driving with my feet is motherfucking not. So I won't take away the fact that at face value, it seems that spanking has its benefits, but there obviously has to be a better way in order to regulate the wrong.
The spanking itself, I think tonight we've looked at soft versus hard, this, that, spanking this, or you're just this. When you accompany the spanking with the reasons why it's happening to where the child understands, it can be effective. It's not just you did something wrong, spank. No, it's like you've done something wrong. I've corrected you on it. I told you about it. Then you messed up again. Then you messed up again. And then when you get spanked that third time, you can't help but know that that's on you. You listen, your dad tried, mom tried, and now you've been told why. And when you get hit, you know why you got hit and you didn't listen, and that was the consequence of it. So it's like if you use corporal punishment with the softer side of parenting, I think combined, it makes a great tool for parenting.
Okay, I got a feeling you're going to get some major pushback from Bree. Hey, Bree.
Oh yeah, I am.
No, don't do that. This is a great conversation. I wanted to say that I do actually respect what Jody's saying, because he has a good relationship with his son, and I think his style of parenting reminds me a lot of my husband, because I practice respectful parenting. We both do. We have girls, and so it's like gentle parenting. It's very adjacent to it, but the focus is on respect, and it's like modeling respect. And as you model it, your kids learn to make decisions and move from a place of respect all the time. So if you start early, it prevents a lot of those moments where they're blowing up, slamming doors, because it's not just about respecting my word as the adult. Is like, respect the home, respect the structure, respect the order of things, respect my emotions, respect space. And so I think it works really well when you start them and you model that all the time. What's wrong? Okay, here, just sit with me while I finish talking.
And see, even Bree is modeling gentle parenting right now.
Yeah, and I agree so far. Everything.
Yeah, and so I think that I do respect, even though I don't really spank my kids. I have girls. They're all pretty. You just look at them too hard, they melt to the floor. They are very soft girls. They're they're not very aggressive or anything like that. But even in respectful parenting, if you hit me, I will hit you back. Now, I've never had my kids hit me, so I will say hitting is not off the table. Violence begets violence, and I need them to understand that about the world. But I wanted to ask Jody, like, when's the last time you had to hit your kids? Because it doesn't seem like you're having to do that.
No,
now do not give age response.
January 2023 is the last time I whooped my son, and before I probably get him once a year. Once a year.
And you know why I know that that's the case, Jody? Because I can tell you don't whip him a lot, because you knew the last time. You knew it by the date and the hour.
Yes.
When you did it, yeah.
I don't need to. Like, when you do it, you don't need to whoop your kids that much. When you teach them to not want to disappoint you, and then when you give that rod every now, sometimes they got to get tightened up. Sometimes JoJo, he just gets out of whack sometimes, and like yo, I'm telling you, what's going on. And sometimes he really will test you. Like, kids will test you no matter how, because they're kids. And then you just need to tighten up every now and then. The last time was January, and then there was one time in 2022. It's like once a year.
Okay, I mean, that's not terrible. I do want to say, I'm not going to stay long, but I do want to say what I do think a lot of people should consider. One, gentle parenting can be done wrong. I'm in a group, people are doing it wrong. They're permissive. They don't put any structure or boundaries in place. And I think that's where it's dangerous. I think that's where it's dangerous. You have to put boundaries, because you can't have your kids slapping you in the face and you're like, no, we don't hit. Well, they're hitting you. So what do you do now? And I think that's the problem with the gentle parenting, and a lot of people struggle with it. But I
agree with that. Yeah.
Even though the article, but I like how you phrased that, Bree, because you said that people doing it wrong, because gentle parenting in and of itself actually does reinforce boundaries, expectations, and all of that. Yeah. So
but they think it's just like talk gentle and be gentle. But I will say before I go, I found that respectful parenting has helped me a lot. My mom was great. She had a degree in child psychology, so she whooped me maybe once my whole life. My dad, not so much. But I will say that the focus in respectful parenting, like focusing on your child's humanity, empathy, and their humanness, like humanism, like they are little humans from the time they come on the earth.
I think it heals you because a lot of us didn't get our humanity considered when we were little. And I think that you don't have to have it all together, but through acknowledging their human side and their emotions and their space to be themselves, I've had to learn to check myself because a lot of parents don't emotionally regulate, and they also don't have boundaries with their kids as far as what you're supposed to put on your kids or what is actually their fault. So I think that that style of parenting has definitely helped heal that part of myself, being able to give that to my kids. So that's all I wanted to say. But now I have a lot of respect for how Jody is choosing to parent
Oh,
his
thank
kids.
you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Respect to you too.
Well, thank you, Bree.
Thank you. Thanks, Bree.
Bye.
I want to ask you this question. Do you have time for these last two guests, Jody?
Yep.
Okay. So my question to you before I bring them up is, can we retire telling kids no for the hell of it? Because I was raised in a household where my mother specifically utilized no just for the hell of it. Sometimes it would piss me off because I was a standard grade A dope top tier as young person. Okay, I was honor roll student, the whole nine, and I'm just like, I'm responsible. I come home on
yeses.
Huh?
You gotta get lots of yeses if a student like that.
Yeah,
lots of yeses should come your way.
Why you go? Just I'm going into a world that's already gonna not reward me properly for all my good works. Why that also got to be the case in the household? Like at least be like if I'm earning my keep, like let me have my keep. I'm earning it. Don't be the world, mama.
So you're right. I'm guilty of that shit too. JoJo came to me one time, Dad, can I have a piece of cornbread? Something that his mom.
Hell no, just for the
cornbread. I was like, no. He was like, why? And then I thought about it. Well, why not? Why? Well, wait. That's a good question. Why? I said, all right, go ahead. I said, wait, why?
It was just a knee-jerk reaction.
To say no.
No. That's
like,
bullshit.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is bullshit.
And this is why I'm okay sometimes with children going upside their parents' heads. But I want to welcome somebody who definitely believes in corporal punishment, I believe. And that is my girl.
Okay, we got the other side.
How you doing?
That's my girl, Monica. Hey, boo.
I've been asking to get on the chat. I tried to get on here the other day with nosy ass.
Oh, yeah. Monica? Yes, that's Monica. It's Miss Monica, yes.
Yeah, Miss Monica.
Miss Monica,
well,
all right.
Like I said, I'm finna turn 24. I've actually matured a lot, Conch. So I'm taking a new approach on things.
Yes.
I do think that some kids can learn by, some kids need it, but some kids don't. Bad kids need, to be whooped. But if it's a good kid and they just made a mistake, just talk to them, hey, you made this mistake, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, and this and that and the other. And then they'll rethink and try something different, so it won't happen again. But I think with a badass kid, I think they need to be whooped. But at the same time, if you teach them while they're young, like with the other people was on here talking about respect. If you teach them respect while they're young, it'll become natural to them. If you teach them that like at the toddler stage or in their earlier years, they will they just become natural to them, because anything you learn like at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years old in your early years is something that you basically stick with for the rest of your life. So if you teach them that at a young age,
yeah, because it's hard to break a teenager out of that. Like when a teenager doesn't already been through a lot of dysfunction, trauma,
it's usually
and
too
then
late.
you're trying to gentle parent. It's like
they're already. I think that kids already are who they are by junior high.
Most definitely. They already know their sexuality. They already know basically damn near everything about themselves. But like I said, I'm taking a mature approach. Like before, I was like, just beat them down. I was trying to fight everybody. But I think right now I'm at the crossroads to where I'm thinking a little bit differently. Okay, I think if you talk to these kids and you sit down and talk to them and, just be their friend. I'm not saying be their friend like let them do what you want them to do. Let them do what they want to do. I'm just like, be their friend as in allow them to be able to come talk to you. And if your kid is able to come talk to you about things that's going on without you jumping all over their head, then they will gain even more respect for you. to where they won't want to rebel or be rebellious.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you there, Monica. I appreciate that, boo.
Well, let me say one more thing.
Okay.
I just started me a new anti-bullying group on Facebook called Punch Out Bullying. For anti-LGBT, for LGBT teens used to being bullied to have a safe space to come on and talk about their problems. It's on Facebook. It's called Punch Out Bullying. I just created it. Trying to do something positive, Conch.
All right.
Send it to me. Send it to my inbox so I can start sharing it out.
Yes, I definitely will.
Okay.
Like I say, Monica's evolving. Like I said, I matured from the 21-year-old you met years ago.
Yes, honey. Jody, Miss Monica came. Miss Monica.
Go ahead, Miss Monica.
Miss Monica came a long way, baby. She ain't taking no prisoners. Elderly, babies, newborns, adults, you can get it. Like,
damn.
Hands off. I'm proud of you, Miss Monica, and definitely send it to me so I can share it out, boo.
All right. Thank you so much, baby.
All right, babe.
Thank you for letting me on.
Of course. That was Miss Monica, you guys. And last but not least, we have Prosperity Thick Girl. Hey, boo.
Hey, babe. How you doing, Jody?
I'm good. How you doing?
I love everything you said. Well, almost everything you said tonight. You were on point. I love the relationship with you and your son. I don't feel like it was staged. I feel like that was a regular conversation. Like,
thank you.
He said that would have been at home, and he would have came and told you, Dad, I just checked my grades.
Thank you.
I got this, and I'm not feeling too cool about it. So, what we gonna do? And you did what you were supposed. You pushed him in the positive way and made him feel like it ain't a 4, but it's still not a 2 or 1. And I know what you can do, and you know what you can do. So next time it'll be better.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, this corporal punishment thing, we all, when we first become parents, I think almost everybody, I'm an 80s baby, was 79. So we were used to the spanking when our kids, and then as they got bigger, things started changing. You start figuring out my child ain't that bad, so I don't have to actually do the corporal thing. All I have to do is talk to them, and that's the easier way. And then when you have kids after them, the kids before them, like, y'all lucky. Y'all don't get like we used to get. Y'all ain't gotta do da. Y'all ain't gotta. So you always learn as you go, and the more you're a parent, the more you know. But can we please stop telling our kids we beat them because we love them? I feel that ties into abuse when they get older, because the man tells them, I love you. I'm beating you because I love you, girl. I love you so much. I just don't want you to leave me. I just don't want you to do this because I love you this much. And when you hear that your whole life, maybe you start to believe that kind of stuff, that this man actually loves me and he beat me because my mama and daddy beat me. And they said it was because they loved me. Thank God that wasn't my ministry, but I'm just saying that I feel that can have a tie in to some of the ways that people.
But wouldn't that mean that we would have to get rid of the corporal punishment altogether, because there's no other explanation for the ass whipping? Because you're not gonna say as a parent, I'm beating you because I'm a god awful parent or because I want you to experience violence. I think a lot of parents put the love on there because they want their child to understand that this pain is with purpose. It's not. I'm not beating you because
you get in trouble because what you did this, and I kept telling you not to do this, and the more, and you just kept doing it. You don't.
But to that point, though, I mean, but even if you take love off of it, thick girl, a person will still internalize that logic. This man slapped me because I defiled his authority as a woman, and I should stay in my place. And he's telling me the reason why he smacked me is because I don't have the right to oppose his authority. So you don't even have to put like love on it in order for a person to still internalize like this violence and then not carry them into the way they perceive love in other relationships.
Yeah, now that you say it, I hear it. I understand now that I can put that with it. But I was just saying, because people, we've actually heard our parents say, "I love you, so I beat you."
Yeah, for sure.
I beat you because I love you. No, you beating me and it hurt, and I don't think you love me at this point. I don't even think you like me right now.
So you are against a corporal punishment? Like,
I don't have.
It doesn't sound like it.
I'm not against it, but I don't have to do that. I have I'm almost finished. I got a 17 and a 16-year-old. And all of my kids have always been loved. People, your kids got so much manners and respect and da-da-da. I've never had that problem. So I've really never had to literally beat my kids all the time. Like when my daughter was being potty trained, I popped her butt one time and then she was potty trained. She never peed in the bed. She never peed on herself. Never again. So I think it's like y'all say, some people just do it because they're lazy and they don't want to do the parenting thing. They don't want to have to pour into their kids. And like we were talking about the school, some of these parents think the teacher are the parent and they are just helping the teacher out. No, it's the other way around. The teacher is an aid for you to educate your child, but your teacher can't do unless you are reiterating it at home. Summertime is not a whole break. Summertime is where you have fun, but you also get ready for the next grade. I used to go to the grade that my kids were going to get work. So when they started school, they would be ahead of the game. I had a preemie who was supposed to be, he was declared deceased at birth. He only wore 1.7. He was supposed to have all these different complications, and he was supposed to be slower than the kids. When my son started school, he was above his grade level. All my kids have always been above their grade level. So now he was supposed to be slow, but he graduated high school a whole year early. It's about how you parent your child, what you pour into your child. You always supposed to want more for your child than you had for when you were growing up.
Absolutely.
And I tell my kids, I raised you the way my mama did. I feel like I turned out okay. But I'm just not whooping your ears the way my mama would have whipped me, because I got beat in school. Like my mama beat me in front of the class. But baby,
well, you are still instilling firmness and structure, but you're just doing it without physical means.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I
could be done.
School.
That's what I'm saying.
I got beat in class, and I was like, she was like, you ain't gonna cry? I'm saying to myself, nope, I am horrible in this school. These teachers will not be teasing me. The kids ain't gonna be teasing me. I cry when I get home, but right now, mama, I got an image to uphold.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, thick girl. Thank you,
Thank
boo.
you, babe. Thank you, Jody. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you. Thank
you
too.
Thank
you so much.
Jody, this was really
cool.
fucking epic.
I like that, bro. I like it, man. I gotta come back for some more talk.
Yeah,
you know
it's a lot to unpack in a discussion like this. But
I need to come with some more of my wild takes too, to really have them call in and argue with me and shit. Because I got
look, I thought you was going. I thought you was gonna trigger the shit out of their asses.
I was out of respect to you. I was
you don't gotta.
You know what I'm saying?
When I'm featuring you on my number one. Oh, my number one song. I'm requesting you, so that means you bring you.
All right, next time I'm gonna know for sure. Next time I'm gonna know. So let me. I guess if this is gonna come to an end, I'm gonna slide this little nugget right here, just in case I ever come back. You guys can come at me.
You coming back?
I think that there is an LGBTQ agenda that needs to be talked about.
Here you fucking go. Okay, so you about to be here for another hour.
Next time. Next time.
And you know what? Also, I want you to come back and talk about. Me and my homeboy always battle it down to the fucking ground about this, but we have a totally different attitude about this whole like fandom. And we live in this politically correct time, so there's a lot of contention in the movie comic area because they're readapting characters. They're making men into girls. They're gay. They're changing ethnicities.
I hate it.
A lot of buzz. So I want you and I to come back.
I hate it.
Yeah, and us have, because I always argue with him like, who gives a fuck? It's mythology to begin with. And he's like, no, we're invested, and these characters have they have their real so
Superman should never be black. I'll just say that. I'm pro-black.
Just create a black Kryptonian.
There it is.
That part. Okay, all right. Let the folk know where they can find you at out here, Jody, on all of your social medias, please.
Jody's Corner, YouTube, at Jody's Corner 1 on Twitter and on Instagram. And I have an anime channel, not just anime. If you like anime content, that's where you can find me.
You gotta love this handsome motherfucker here, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, you guys, we want to get out of here. You stay your ass right there. You guys make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna have all of Jody's information linked in the description box. You guys, please check him out. He Like his shit is dope. They get into all the things we get into over here. They do pop culture. I mean, they get lit. They get crunk as fuck.
Thanks,
It's
good.
very diverse. It's very lit over there. So I'm telling you, you would get your needs met over on Jody's motherfucking corner. All right. I am gonna bring him back. And you guys tell me down in the comment section what you think about aggressive parenting, gentle parenting. You know, is there a blend? Is there a mixture? Can they work together? Can they be complementary? What do you think about the data around corporal punishment? All of that good jazz. And until next time, in the words of Mother Iyanla, stay in peace, not pieces. Bye.